Here, Earl staff member Ray Daniels will discuss several destruction analysis tests, including thin sections and acetate peels.
This is a piece of core that has been tested and sampled, so all we have left is a quarter of the original amount of core. So we're going to talk about two similar techniques for different purposes. First one is called a thin section. And what we do is we slice a very thin piece of this rock off. And in the old days, it used to be put on a slide, and you put grit on a glass plate, and you moved it in circles, and you slowly ground it down to where you could see through it. And the result that you get is like this. Now you can see a lot in here under a microscope. You can still see some details right here, but you see how thin it is and how you can see through it. Another way you can do it is you take a slide, and what we've done here is put alizarin red on it, which dyes the calcium in it red, sort of purple. That way you can tell what you're looking at is calcium, and you can also see the structure of the rock, which is represented on this side. Now, I'm going to wet these fossils in the core down with water. You can see them a little better. And if you look at this one, you can actually see the septa of the coral. Now, when you have a fossil like that, one of the things you can do with that is make an acetate peel. What you do is you cut out the fossil that you want to take an acetate peel from out of this core, and then you polish it on glass with stuff you call grit. It's sized from coarse to extremely fine, and you polish that down until it's flat, absolutely flat. And then you take a sheet of acetate and you cut a little piece out of it, sort of like our thin section, which you've seen before. And once you do that, you take hydrochloric acid and you put it on the fossil that you polished, and when you do that, you get a reaction. And what it does is it etches that fossil. After you've done that, you take liquid acetone, which will come in a squirt bottle just like this, but it'll be clear. And you flood the surface of your sample with the acetone, and you put the acetate plastic sheet on top of it. It'll dissolve and go into the pores of that rock you've just polished. When you do that, once it's adhered, you just take the piece of acetate and you take your fossil and you just peel it back. And once you've done that, if you've done it right, you can take, it should come out looking something like that. And here you see oil. We call it dead oil. The term for it is bitumens. Now, if you're a petroleum geologist, you might want to look at this. There is a destructive technique we can use to test to see what the petroleum content of this rock is. And we'll pulverize it into dust, and we'll test it for total organic carbon. And we express this. If we pulverize this and it was 100 grams, and 1 gram of it is organic matter, we'd say 1% weight total organic carbon.